During the Edo period in Japan, a stitching and embroidery method was discovered, and like so many things now that we take for granted, it was discovered because it was needed. So white cotton thread is often used because it's cheap, and this geometric pattern of stitching, sometimes vertically down, sometimes cross-stitched, it is used to strengthen worn-out clothing, and often on cheap indigo dyed blue cloth. Sometimes red can be applied instead, but traditionally blue is the most often used color. And to celebrate the 35th year anniversary of the Jordan 6, Jordan Brand is paying homage to this traditional type of stitching, releasing a Japan exclusive colorway, and honestly, it might be my favorite Jordan 6 yet today. Air Jordan 6 Sashiko. Now, the shoe originally dropped on April 25th for $200 exclusively in Japan. I don't think it's going to drop eventually anywhere else. And it is another special Jordan 6 release to celebrate the 35th year anniversary of the Jordan 6. I recently just reviewed the Jordan 6 Xuanwu. That was a China exclusive, so a few regional exclusive of this silhouette. I wonder what the US exclusive will be. Maybe there won't be one, but regardless, first impressions of the shoe, delicious. I think this is a really nice looking shoe. Honestly, when I first saw images, I was like, this is a nice, pretty nice, but in hand, this is one of those shoes. I don't really say this often. It can kind of sound like a cliche, but for me, this is a shoe in hand. It looks really good. I had it sitting on my shelf, like in my closet the other day, and I was sitting on a seat where I could see it, and I just kept staring at it. I was like, damn, that's a pretty looking shoe. I love what they did on this colorway. Definitely Michelin star rated delicious. Now, in terms of the box, this just comes with a Jumpman box with a blue lid. A little disappointing here. I really would have wished they came with something a bit more custom, really play into the storytelling of Sashiko, of this colorway specifically. The paper inside is actually different. So you'll see this texture that is meant to represent that type of stitching. So they did a little bit, but no extras on the shoe, and the box itself is just, yeah, it is a little underwhelming. And the materials on the shoe, on the overlays, it is leather, and you do see that leather come through very nicely. It feels nice and soft. It is not the thickest, but it doesn't feel like so thin that it's flimsy. It just feels extra soft. Now on the base layer itself, it is like canvas. Now usually I don't love canvas on my sneakers, but you'll see the Sashiko type of stitching throughout, and then up the tongue as well, you get more of that cross stitching. I just love the way they've executed this. It is not like in your face, it is very subtle, and it gets the storytelling across. Love how that looks. Now, one thing while we're on the overlays, the Jordan 6 actually has a hidden 2-3 like embedded onto the shoe itself. Now, moving up the tongue, you will get the cross stitching extended onto that Jumpman flap. Now that is red, white, and blue. Those are common colors that are used in Sashiko, with blue being the most common one, traditionally anyway. And like other Jordan 6s, you can actually undo this flap and then tuck your laces behind it. And of course, you will see the pull tab that comes with all Jordan 6s. This one comes with Jumpman, as well as Nike branding. And then at the top of the tongue, Air Jordan branding. Now, right behind the tongue, just like the Jordan Jumpman flap, you get the same colors, and that actually extends all the way to the ankle collar inside. Very nicely done there. I love what they did here. It is not too much, but it still kind of pops a little bit. It just looks really, really nice. And in terms of the laces out of the box, you just get these sail, very sail, creamy yellow laces. Not my favorite color. Probably would have gone with something a little lighter, like at least the same shade of sail as the leather, but it's very yellow, so that's not exactly my favorite. No extra laces, kind of a bummer. For a special Japan release, really expected some, at least one extra set of laces, but I think white would have looked really nice. And then moving around to the booty of the shoe, again, this has been specially done up to, not Nike Air branding, it is Jumpman Air branding. Again, this year, I don't know what the rule is anymore. For a while, it was, if it was an OG release, and if it's a special collaboration or special release, they will stick Nike Air. Non-OG releases, gets Jumpman branding. I would have thought like other pairs of Jordan 6s have come this year. This is a special release. We get Nike Air at the very least, but just Jumpman here. However, it is slightly different. So you get this kind of cutout window, but the stitching extended here and the same type of red-blue pattern. That looks really good. Like Nike branding and Jumpman branding aside, really love how that looks. And of course, you'll see that rubber pull tab on the Jordan 6 that was inspired by the spoiler of a sports car. And what I love about the color of the spoiler is that it's translucent with that blue strip going across. I think that looks really good. And in terms of the cushioning of the shoe, this just comes with a polyurethane midsole with a Nike Air unit on the heel, of course, as well as one on the forefoot. And the midsole here, it is actually white, or at least off-white. It is not like sail, it is not creamy. It just pops against the rest of the colors on this shoe. Love how that looks. On the outsole, however, it is creamy. So yeah, a little too yellow for my liking. I would have preferred if this was like icy blue, translucent type of outsole in that honeycomb pattern. But no, came very yellow like the laces. That's one thing that I don't absolutely love about the shoe, but I don't think it detracts too much from it. And in terms of the insoles, they came correct. You get Jumpman branding here, and it is a polyurethane insole. So it's thick, molds to your feet the more you wear it. And in terms of sizing and comfort, I am a wide and flat footer for Jordan 6s. My go-to size fits me pretty well lengthwise, widthwise. It is a decently comfortable shoe, still pretty flat to the ground. Ancient technology, you don't feel much cushioning. It is still heavy, it is still bulky. It is very much a product of its time. But if you're getting a Jordan Retro, you should know what to expect. And that brings the total sole score of the Jordan 6 Sashiko. They're 40 out of 50, a pretty good score compared to other special releases. Now first, it is colorway. Delicious. I wouldn't put it 10 out of 10. That's reserved for like legendary colorways, but it is so nice. So nice. This ivory cream color on the upper, with the Jumpman flap here in the tongue, as well as on the ankle collar. I think it works really well. Do I love this very yellow laces, kind of yellow outsole? No, but I think overall, this is a delicious colorway. And in terms of the materials, I think the leather is pretty nice. It is definitely not the thickest, but it just feels soft. I love feeling that texture, and it doesn't feel too plasticky and thin. And the canvas, usually I don't love, but you layer on top that type of Sashiko stitching, I just think it gives it a really nice pop. And in terms of the comfort, nothing too special, very flat to the ground, very bulky, but it's definitely not a shoe that I think will hurt your feet. And it's definitely not like an Air Force One, where it kind of feels like a takeaway box on feet. This is decent. And in terms of the versatility, the Sixers are a pretty bulky, kind of retro looking shoe. So I wouldn't say it suits every single setting. Wearability of the colorway, I think it's actually very nice. The colors, like the more bold colors on the shoe, the red and blue, maybe are the only things that might detract you, but I think those shades are super subtle, doesn't become too bold, and just like a distraction. I think overall this is a very wearable colorway, and in terms of the storytelling, everything on the shoe I think is really well done. The stitching is very nicely executed. It is not in your face, but it's there. They really bring home what they're trying to do with this shoe, and the colors chosen, it still plays into the blue and red kind of tradition of Sashiko. But the box, that's where I have an issue with. They really could have came with a delicious box. Like the Jordan 3 Sole 2.0 came with really nice unboxing experience. I think they could have done better here. Today's throwback of the day, in reference to Japan as well, it is the Nissan Skyline R34. Now, if you grew up in the US, it was nearly impossible to have gotten this car at the peak of its existence. US had their own crash and safety emission standards, which means Japan never sold the Skyline in the US market. So you had to wait 25 years to import the car because this Swindon rule no longer applied. But if you grew up outside the US, like Australia, New Zealand, you would see these beauties every once in a while, and goddamn, they are delicious. There's of course the R32, R33. My favorite was always the R34 GTR, obviously appearing in Fast and Furious as well. The beauty of this car is timeless. It still holds up super well in 2026, and it still is a very coveted car in the US, and I am one of those people that covered this car. It is a special year for the Jordan 6, the 35th year anniversary of the shoe that Michael Jordan wore when he won his first championship. So they bring up some pretty special colorways, reverse infrared, the Xuanwu. I definitely am missing some others, but They are making it a year for the Jordan 6, and to date, for 2026, I gotta say, in hand, after I saw these, I definitely think this is the best so far. So that's it. Thanks for watching. So inclined. Let me know what you think of the Air Jordan 6 Sashiko. Like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And remember, tomorrow may never come, so wear your shoes.